All right. Um, like I said, I'm gonna continuously make video. Uh, I hear these people tell me how they're gonna burn me, they're gonna do these horrible things to me. The reality is they're gonna do extra for the theater purpose. They wanted to create this fantasy. Target individuals, perps in some circumstances create facades. I keep saying, for me, they try to portray themselves as this group of protectors of children and people who are avenging and BS. These people are the opposite, and you find out soon that once you do your research that this program has been ongoing for decades. Decades. I mean, everything you're experiencing today, you hear some kind of version happening in the 60s or so, right? You hear them, like you hear this MK Ultra type of program where literally what they were trying to do is to find a way to manipulate memories, control the mind, and this is late 50s, early 60s, like this that long ago. So today you understand that this is why they're capable of doing these things to that level now, because this has been ongoing for decades, and they've been subcontracting people from a while. And so now you understand. Okay, this structure that they have now is really kind of started from so long ago. And since so long ago, they've been doing horrible things to people, including women and children. So, with me bringing that information, they know the sources of what they're part of. Not only the sources, but what is happening currently. It's just nasty. But coming from people who had imagining themselves being in this program of like avenging and doing, it's just horrible. Like it's just they wanted to be fierce. This takes a level of cowardness that could just be in a Guinness book. I mean, it's just the level of cowardness these people have is just unbelievable. It's not the regular type of cowardness. You see, we all want to survive, but these people have a cowardness that is just unbelievable. They do the foulest things to people, including this pedophilia type of tormenting. It's just disgusting. 2 seconds ago, there was there was like a picture of this little baby, and they tried to do this nasty thing. I'll probably use that as a thumbnail. Matter of fact, I'll show like what father holding his little girl, and they try to do this horrible, not even this disturbing stimulation. Last night they woke me up doing things to my genitals, burning, radiating me, and I was, like I said, to whatever's gonna happen to me in this horrible state. They tell me they're gonna find my skulls. Listen, death, it comes. They want me to be. The one thing they don't understand is we all gonna end up dying, right? So you tell me they're gonna find my bones, my skeleton. Where are they gonna find yours? You understand? This is what's gonna happen. We're gonna end up all being scared. Like we're all gonna die. But I'm talking to people who are terrified of even thinking about it, because these people have been doing cowardly things to people, calling themselves gods, working for pedophiles, and doing the pedophilia type of torture. And they try to sound fierce. Like you can't sound fierce, first of all, when the agencies that run these things are run by pedophiles. All they do is try to counter reality. They're like, oh, stop it. Right? These people are filled with pedophiles in this agency. These trash are filled with pedophiles. They have a signature of pedophilia throughout this whole programs. They just try to block it out. They use these childlike individuals who will never want to be seen. They do these pedophilia things, and they try to make me think of me as a kid. Now they don't even. They try to like make me older. Right? Because I did before. It's like when I just turned 14 and whatever, and it's like that's when. And I was like, oh no, when you're 15. Oh no, when you're like, oh, let's stop. You do it. You're forcing me to have these nasty stimulations. You make me have disturbing things, reactions to babies, like this little girl. It's nasty. It's so disgusting. But that's what you guys do. And they're like, oh, now you're going to fear. Yes, I'll be fearful of the things that are going to happen to me. But one thing is for sure, I'll never subscribe to it. I'll never like, I'll never, be, I'll never, I'll never be like, oh, because I'm gonna be fearful. Now it makes sense. And they know I was gonna make this video, right? They call it, "You gonna preach?" I'm not a preacher, but if that's what you call preaching, okay. Because what I'm saying is, I'm saying the things that they don't want to hear. Their job is to counter reality. Then they'll die. That's their life. For me, they've done some nasty things. They this morning, last time they tried to give me all kind of things, like kind of painful like things. But I was like, don't just go to, like, I told myself this, whatever I'm gonna experience, they want to feel it. Run toward it. I'd rather die than do what they do, than let them live their fantasy. I'd rather go through the worst of pain than live there, give them this sense of like empowerment. Yes, horrible things are gonna happen to me. I've embarrassed these people too much. There's no way they can just be. There's no way. They've been embarrassed in so many ways. As they do their pedophilia type of torture, others have said the same thing. You can't even try to counter that reality. So you're saying that you're not doing it to me, but others are being forced to have these perceptions. To me is when I was a child, which you try to make him older and older, right? Because I'm in my past mid plus 30s. This is always 20 years ago. It's more than 20 years ago. To try to come up with a new storyline. They're trash. I'm never gonna let them live their fantasy. These people try to show their intellect. You see, look at me, I'm a structured individual. I have my things together. Yes, you have your things together, and you're comparing to somebody who's being radiated, tormented, tortured, forced to think about kids in this nasty pedophilia way. I had a dream. Another dream, disturbing pedophilia-centric dream. Not sexual, but they give you this disgusting sexual stimulation. It was a dream where there was this little girl somewhere, and I saw her just roaming around the street by herself. And this is in the dream. And then in the dream, I was like, okay, she's by herself. We need to call somebody. So I go help this kid, grab her hand, and then go to I think it was going to a place I had. Then we were supposed to call her parents. Then we decided, oh, never mind, let's just go. And she tells me that her mother was supposed to pick her up somewhere else. And then so we walk her to like some place where her mother was supposed to pick her up, waiting for her mother just being there in case. And throughout this whole thing, they'll give me stimulations, disgusting things. This is all fictional. Just to try to condition me toward kids, and they'll give me nasty stimulations. This is the things they do. Trash. Yesterday I was talking about there was like one case in mid-50s, right? This man ended up doing horrible things to a 3-year-old kid, right? That's early like experimentation days. This man ended up raping and killing a 3-year-old little girl in the 50s, mid-50s. Finding out that this man was a subject in one of the early stages of this like MK Ultra. There was the man, the doctor that initiated, I think Dr. West or something, some military psychologist that was involved in this like experimentation. Said that they changed his memory. And made him think that this little girl was somebody who did something to him when he was a kid. And he ended up raping and killing this 3-year-old kid. And as they're trying to frustrate me, I'm like, you guys, this is the foundations of this thing that you guys. And you still do these horrible things, maybe more calculated, maybe more targeted, but it's still you still do these nasty things. You still torture children sexually today. As I'm saying that, you hear people in the hallways try to block that out. Because reality is what they are at war with reality. They are at war with knowing the reality that they're involved in a program that is so disgusting. So they live off what they want to, because reality is this technology, this program of manipulating people started off things of that nature. This man ended up doing something that he would never do. And that was the goal. They were trying to see what they can make a person do. Now, was that specifically what they wanted him to do? I don't know. But he ended up raping and killing a 3-year-old girl. A man that had kids, that was respected, not violent, just normal person. When this act was done, he was like, it seemed like he was in a trance. It was disgusting. Now, this is in the mid-50s. Today, they still do this manipulation of the mind, but now it's more focused, and they torture children directly. They target the kids. They hurt kids using directed energy and other kind of radiation. I got a sample of what a child could have been experiencing. They were doing things to my testicle. I can imagine a 3-year-old having to deal with this. That's what the things they do. And they try to say, oh no, we are a bunch of group of strong, radical feminists and we're avenging. It's like, no. Then try to talk about me as a kid and try to even exaggerate that. Even now, they even exaggerate the age. Try to find ways to push that as older. Because I was in middle school, they tried to push me in high school. It's so sad. Everything is coming up with like fantasies. Well, then the program that does horrible things, I understand this is a way to cope with what they're part of. They enjoy what they're part of. So they're finding ways to cope with it. So start telling themselves a reality, a fantasy. Because they know they sold the soul to pedophiles. I said it many times. This BuzzFeed kind of shows that you guys kind of did. They found ways to kind of like cover up for them. It's like, oh, we're different now. It's like, yeah, okay. They can't even speak about a pedophile that picked up kids. They have to find a way to say Roy Moore in a way where I can even hear properly. It's like they're so timid when I say his name. As if I say the name of this blasphemy. They can't even say it. This pedophile. You see, even that they make this pedophile like a god. Just because the way they're scared to say his name in a proper way. It's like, saying like a religious name that you don't want to say because it could be blasphemy. So this lowlife who involved in a program that does horrible things to kids, to women, renowned for the pedophilia type of torture, try to get you to accept these things. I tell me I'm going to be tortured, and it's okay. All I got to see into that is like, okay, this is almost biblical. God gave me strength because they're going to do some horrible things to me, but I know why. It's going to be part of the theater. They've been humiliated. I've been asking, listen, let me see them for what they are. I can't stop seeing them for what they are. They do these nasty things and then try to make the noise campaign, give me stimulations, and I'm like, I know you do the pedophilia type of torture. And they're like, no, now you pay for what you did as a kid. No, you do the pedophilia type of torture. And you torture little girls like that. You hurt them even younger than this little baby. You torture kids as young as 3 weeks old. I can pull testimony right now that will disturb everybody. And I know these people, as young as they sound, as childlike they sound, they are the people that do these things. They literally recruit people like that because what else are they going to do? They have nothing to live for. I mean, they have nothing going for them. To them, it's like, oh I can prove my value in life. They're nothing. Trash. Who knows what's going to happen to them? I know some of them are going to be on antidepressants. I know some of them will be going to be suicidal. I know. This is a future will hold for them some magical things. Cowardice of that level. But with me, they don't like to be seen. Because I humiliate them. I show them, it's like, listen, this trash, listen to this testimony. They want me to think that this nasty experiencing I'm experiencing is me as a kid, and then try to kind of even change that. Make me even an older kid. Now I'm never gonna subscribe to that. I know it's what they make me experience. I'm not a child, and I'll never subscribe to this nastiness that they make me think that it's me when I was a kid, and now they want to make older. I can't. And they tell me how they're gonna frame me. I was like, yes, people who do pedophilia type of torture, who torture children, who are cowards, who are foul, delusional trash, can easily frame people. That's you think about all the nastiest things they can do. This is part of that. There is no limit of this slowness. There's no self-respect. So all I have to do is just remember, these people have tortured, abused, manipulated some of the most vulnerable people, and it's still happening today with their money, with their resources. Well, with their resources. I know what they are. They've done horrible things to most innocent people, the most vulnerable people. And I'm talking about babies. With their money. With this trash doing this to me. So I'd rather die slow. Suffer. Scream. They tell me I'm gonna be burned. This is people who are trying to counter reality. They knew, it's funny because they know that I'm the type of person who's not gonna let them live in their fantasy. This thing is so orchestrated, right? That they obviously know that my personality will not let them go with their fantasy. I would not let them go into a fantasy where they're this group of people who are eventually. They knew that I was gonna take this as if I'm a martyr, as if this is like an honorable death, a dignified death. But they're right. It is dignified. You tell me, you trash, filled with so many people, have done so much horrible things to some of the most vulnerable. You work onto, you do horrible things. You manipulate people. This is a program that's been ongoing for years. And I was going to look at you guys, oh no, you guys are just this badass bunch of femme fatale. Huh. Of course not. Who can actually? Who can actually think of this group of strong femme fatale in this program that torture children and women? Nobody. So of course, I'm looking at it for what it is. A program that has been doing horrible things to women and children, causing mass shooting, torturing children, torturing men, torturing women, doing these pedophilia things, and then finding out that these people are filled with pedophiles. Come on. This is biblical. This is pure biblical. Pay those running through these agencies. This is biblical. Of course. How else can I see this? And then what they try to do is try to exaggerate what I did as a kid. As a child, these trusts are torturing children, and then try to get you to accept this nasty stimulation to babies and say that's you, when you heard all the testimonies about what they do to children, and all the testimony about the pedophilia type of torment, that's almost all targeted individuals. Of course, they knew that I was going to listen to that and be like, what? You want me to subscribe to this? Of course I'm not. Who can with this level of validations? Because some child like trash is telling me it's me when I was a kid? No. I know myself. Of course I know it's not natural. I know it's not organically happening. It's disgusting, but this is what you guys can do. You've been doing it for years. That's the things they do. So, you see that thumbnail of this baby and her father, very endearing, adorable thing, now turning into some nasty sexual things, which they try to say, we matched it to you as a child. This is delusional. And mind you, they've been doing these manipulations for decades. They can't even manipulate your memories. They've been doing that since the 60s. With different type of technology. Now, with the sophistication, it's just don't even forget about it. They literally try to get you to accept these things. So, of course, I know it's not me. It's not even me when I was a kid. And they even have to exaggerate and have to even create add years to what I did as a child. Well, this trash continuously tortured children and women. We using this pedophilia type of torture. So am I going to look at it as like, oh, it's me, this stimulation right now I'm having, even thinking about this baby? Or is the pedophilia things that you guys are renowned to be doing? So to all my target individual, stay strong. I'm not perfect. I know my imperfections. I know who I am. I know what really is my, perfection. These pedophilia things will never be it. This is only this nastiness that they implant in my brain. And I'll never subscribe to it. So when I hear these femme fatale wannabes, these cowards who wanted to, make themselves brave, and it was like, no. I make it even easier. Not easier. I make it to show how easy it is to do what you do. There's this person, I've talked about it. I'm with her. I don't know if I can even. It's harder and harder for me to be around her. It's harder because I've been with perps, knowing that they're perps. But she's do this thing where one, she tried to be very progressive, intellectual, and then turn into somebody who's on the spectrum. And then try to make herself this radical fighter, and then she's like, it's like you're and then I see her in front of me just disappear. When I look at, because she's in front of me, and I pull up my phone and look at like the testimonials. I put my I listen to, and I look at her, and you her just like looking away, just going try to like go somewhere else, disappear, and I'm looking at it, it's like, yo, trash. That's being like, you are a trash. You are a human. You're a bottom feeder. You speak about all these things about what's right and wrong. You're doing this. You forget. You're in a program that does these horrible things. Forget about what you're talking about. This. It'd be one thing if it's just me in it. No, this. Forget about all this BS you're talking about in comparison to this. I can never let you live your fantasy. Well, I'm saying that they're trying to counter it. That's like, oh, you were a teen. They try to talk about me as a kid, which they try to increase as an older. These bottom feeders that torture children sexually. How old are you? You understand? So you have these lowlifes that want to be this femme fatale, radical, a radical, strong, whatever. Talk about me, right? And try to talk about, oh, what you did as a kid in 8th grade. Just turned 14. Having to exaggerate that. Well, she's in a program that tortured children. Tortured them sexually too with this technology. And then try to make me subscribe to this pedophilia type of torture and say, no, it's you when you were a kid. Remember when you're like in just turned 14 years old? Like, what? I'm in my 30s. I can never let you live your fantasy. It's like me saying this grown woman say, hey, remember when you just turned 14? When 13 just turned 14? If you remember, that was you then. You'd be like, what? You clown. That's what they send these childlike individuals to try to agitate you. It's like, of course I know it's not true. And even when I was a kid, I didn't think like that. This is how you manipulate my memories, because you have the ability to change memories, to add information in memories. Yeah, you've been having that ability for a long time. You understand? So to all my target individuals, do not subscribe to it. I'd rather die slow than live the way they live. They're going to get theirs. Of course, you can't. I think they sign up knowing that. It's like, it's going to come at one point with trash. You cowards. Probably the Guinness Book of Cowardness they should be there. They've been daring in this ways for decades. Hear the story in the 50s. So they're trash. So stay strong and know that justice will be done. This low life that can't even speak about Roy Moore, and when they say it's like they're speaking about this religious being. This saying it as if they're scared to say it because it might be blasphemy if they say it in a certain way. No, they're cowards, they're low life, they pay those. And I'd rather die slow than having to be shy about saying Roy Moore. Than having to involve myself in a program that tortured children and women. They're forcing people to think in these pedophilia ways and call it it's war. In my apartment, just hanging out. These cowards, they're trash. So, to all my target individuals, stay strong. Know that justice will be done for sure. They'll be reimbursed for all this thing. For me, in the meantime, I ask God to give me the strength to deal with the theater. I thank Him. I thank Him. I could live like my life like that. Try to say, or more. Or just, it's like, no, it's you. No, we matched it. It's you. Oh yeah, it's you. You were. Are you 18? While I'm in here killing kids and torturing women. No, I'd rather die slow than live their fantasy.